I have done a little research on the era in which Zarathustra is supposed to have lived, but the information contradicts itself. Well, different claims contradict each other. One claim says that Zarathustra lived 258 years before Alexander the Great. A second explanation claims that Zoroaster lived around 1500 BC, which exactly matches the Rig Veda date of Max Muller. A third explanation claims that Zarathustra lived 5,000 years before the Trojan War. What's my view on this? So, because the Greeks destroyed all Persian records, that's why we don't quite know when Zarathustra lived. So, what's the truth? This 1500 BC Max Muller, let's throw it out of the room right away. Okay, we don't need to waste our time talking about Max Muller and his dates. His dates were based on God knows what theological calculations. That according to the Adam and Eve theory, the theory of creation, the world was created in so and so date. So Indian culture and civilization cannot be older than that. Obviously, then yeah, that sort of thing. So Genesis, that's that thing. So let's forget about what Max Muller said in his 1500 BC Aryan invasion nonsense, and Rig Veda was written in 1500 BC. Forget about that. Zarathustra. One claims that Zarathustra lived 258 years before Alexander. So Alexander invaded India and Persia which year? Which year? It was it's right before, it was when the Nanda dynasty was in power in India, and a few years before the Mauryan Empire was set up by Chandragupta Maurya with the assistance of Vishnugupta Chanakya. So let's quickly Google this because I don't remember the exact date, because you should never memorize dates. You can always refer to them. So let's go to Google. Date of Alexander's uh, disastrous invasion of India. Okay, when 327, 326 BC. Okay, that's when he invaded. So if Zarathustra lived 258 years before that, that's 527 BC plus 577, 585 BC. 585 BC is what that claim would give us. Now, Achaemenes. Okay, when did he lived? 7th century BC. Well, that kind of makes sense. It's possible. It's plausible, I would say. Plausible. If it is 585 or 580 or something BC, it would be after Hakhamanish or Akshamanish. So the founder of the Achaemenid dynasty was this gentleman, Achaemenes or Hakhamanish or Akshamanish, and he was definitely not a Zoroastrian. If he was not a Zoroastrian, well, what religion did he follow? Well, obviously the Vedic religion, right? What else? So I think that is a little plausible that Zarathustra lived maybe a century or two after the founder of the Achaemenid dynasty. That kind of could make sense. Zarathustra. So if you look at the name Zarathustra, it's two words, Zarath and Ustra. Zarath means yellow or golden, and Ustra means camel in Sanskrit. So it means golden camel or yellow camel. Maybe he had a golden camel, or maybe he was the owner of yellow camels. I don't know what it was, but that sort of thing. That's the kind of name it is. 5,000 years before the Trojan War. Well, when did the Trojan War happen? Troy has been discovered. It's currently present day in present day Turkey. It's a place called Hisarlik. So that is most likely the site of historical Troy, which at that time Turkey used to be Greece. And that battle, if it happened, the war of Troy, the Trojan War, it would be around maybe between 1500 BC and 2000 BC, around that time. So if Zarathustra lived 5,000 years before that would be 7000 BC, which I think is a little, it's like far-fetched a little bit. Yeah. So I would be more inclined to say that he must have lived a few maybe 2.5 centuries before Alexander's attempted invasion of India. Maybe that makes more sense, but nobody has the conclusive answer as to when Zarathustra actually lived, because we don't have the answer because all the records are gone. The Greeks destroyed all Persian records, so we don't know the answer, but most likely after the foundation of the Achaemenid dynasty.